Hi, if you're new here, my name is Chanel. I'm 24 years old, living at home with my parents and working full-time to pay off $92,914.61 in debt.
I'm sharing with y'all how much I made from TikTok in each month of 2024. In January, I made $11,700.
My husband just got paid today, so let's go through his $2,799.62 paycheck.
So apparently you guys couldn't get enough of people posting their salaries online, and honestly, neither could I. So I decided to make a part 2, but now it's gone even further. People are breaking down exactly how much they make per month, how much debt they're in, and how they spend their money, even how they budget their husband's income like it's any of my business. It's salary transparency turned full financial reality show, and today we're diving into the wild world of monthly money breakdowns, side hustle bragging, and brutally honest budgeting. So let's get into it. Actually, before we do, if you're comfortable sharing, not everybody is, I'd like to know who manages the money and the bills in your household. Is it your husband? Is it your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, or is no one really keeping track at all? I'm curious, so let me know down in the comment section below, and I will go first. It's me, just don't tell my fiance that. Otherwise, let's get right into today's episode.
Here is how much I earn in a month as a 27-year-old with 3 jobs. For my full-time job, I work as a financial analyst for the Minnesota Timberwolves. My salary is $83,000 per year, but this month my net pay was only $4,116. This is because I pay for basketball tickets and I invest over $1,100 per month. For one of my part-time jobs, I work as a receptionist at a Lifetime Fitness, and I made $296 this month. And then I also do social media on the side, and I made $1,976.
Wow.
Social media income is paid pre-tax, so I do have to set aside 30% for taxes. So for this month, I set aside $600. This brings my total for the month to $5,788. I am hoping to start Instacart, DoorDash, or Amazon Flex soon too, so that I can increase my income even more. Hopefully working 4+ jobs and side hustles will help me get to a $6,000 month and eventually a $10,000 month.
Wow.
And just for funsies, here's my finished iPad coloring page.
Yeah, I absolutely love this video and everything about it because I'm a huge advocate for working several jobs. You don't just have to work one job, your one full-time job. I think working some side hustles, no matter what they are, can be a huge boost to your income. I used to do something like this when I graduated college. I worked as a full-time marketing manager at a car rental company. And then on the side, after work, I worked at the smoothie bar at the LA Fitness, and I was able to double dip and make quite a lot more money than I would had I just stuck with one job. This was like my spending money. I kept as much as my salary as I could from my full-time gig, and then the additional income that was coming in from my side hustle was making me, some extra spending cash as well. And that's not even including the social media, YouTube stuff that I was doing at the same time too. So I really had almost like 3 jobs. Now, one thing that I think you guys should really consider is with your side hustles, you guys should get really creative and do something you really have a passion for. I always like to find ways to monetize things you already enjoy. So let's say you're really into baking. Go try to find a gig doing some baking. Maybe it's at a bakery, maybe it's at Dunkin' Donuts, maybe it's a cookie shop, just for a couple hours on the weekend or maybe after or before work. And you can pretty much kill 2 birds with one stone. You do something you enjoy, you get to learn and educate yourself about whatever it is, and you get some extra spending money. Why spend the money and try figuring it out on your own when you can get paid to learn to do something and educate yourself on something you actually enjoy? So for me, I love being in the gym. So to get paid to be in the gym and to get unlimited protein smoothies, it was like a no-brainer, and I got paid to do it. It was great. I got to see all my friends at the gym more often. It's just something to consider. Anywho, I wanted to read a couple of the comments that you guys had left on the previous salary insanity video. And if you guys want to get featured in, part 3, then definitely make sure to drop a comment down below. $53,000 a year gross as a purchasing agent. I don't even know what a purchasing agent is, but a friend rents me an apartment for $500, all inclusive. So it feels like I make $80K when I can save 75% of my salary. See, that is huge. On top of getting side hustles, if you can manage to reduce your expenses, you can turn what would be a $50K salary into what might feel like an $80K salary. We talk about this all the time, and I think this is a phenomenal comment. Thank you for commenting this because it's so true. Like I've said in many of my videos, if you have holes in your pockets, no matter how much money you bring in and put in them, it's going to keep spilling out. So you have to learn how to fix that hole so that you can actually take control over your income. And you have two ways of doing this. Usually the first I always recommend is try to find a way to cut as many of the costs as possible. And then once that is in line and budgeted, you know what I'm saying? Find a way to reduce your rent. This dude found an all-inclusive rent for $500. That is a steal. Something like that would probably go for, $1,700 to $2,000 anywhere else in the country. So that's a huge savings. And then once you get all that done, then you can try to find ways to boost your income up and not give in to lifestyle creep. And you could retire very quickly. You could make a lot of cash very quickly. And then we can go into the whole investing thing, but that's step like 3 or 4 after you're out of debt. So super quick, guys, I actually found something really cool that I wanted to share with you. I just found a way to make some extra like coffee side money, literally just by doing something you might already be doing in your free time, playing games on your phone. And no, this isn't some shady download farm nonsense where they're going to sell your data to everybody and that's why the app is free. I've already checked. I've done the research. That's not the case. It's actually a platform called KashKick. I don't know if you've heard about them, and I've actually been testing it myself. And here's how it works. Once you sign up, KashKick connects you with mobile games that are actively paying to get people to try them out. That's it. So basically, you choose the games you like, you hit certain levels or achievements within the game, and then KashKick deposits real money straight into your account. So no, this isn't some sort of data farm where they're trying to collect your personal information and sell it. Basically, these apps need marketing, so they hire KashKick, and the way KashKick makes money is they keep a small piece of the profit that this company might be paying them, and then pays you out the rest for downloading and playing the app. It's that simple. Now, I'm currently playing Dice Streams because it pays out actually the fastest. Here's a little tip. Like, you can literally earn money within a day or two by just casually playing the game. And some of the games on there are paying up to $300 or more if you really commit to playing these games. Not bad for something you're probably already doing, right? Now, obviously, this is not going to replace your job or anything like that, but if you're already into mobile games or doom scrolling, this is just a fun way to turn the screen time into a bit of extra like Starbucks cash. Plus, it's totally free to use. There's no hidden fees. There's no gimmicks. You just scan the QR code that you see on the screen, or you can use the link at the top of the description to get started. So definitely make sure to try it out. Let me know what games you end up playing, and shout out to KashKick for sponsoring today's episode, and also for helping us make just a little extra dough in a fun way.
I'm a nurse and I got paid today, so we are going to go over my paycheck together. So I worked 4 shifts in 2 weeks, so that's 24 hours each week, so a total of 48 hours. I'm technically PRN status, so every time I pick up, I get 25% of my base rate an hour. So it's like, it equals out to like a little over $8 an hour. My paycheck was
$8 an hour? What? Why would you even want to be a nurse?
$1,913.
$1,913, 48 hours for 2 weeks. We're looking at a little bit less than $4,000 a month. And that's probably after taxes. That's her take home. So that's not terrible. That's not terrible.
My car payment, which is $760. I paid the electric bill, which is $253. And I paid the water bill, which was $63. I did contribute a little bit of my paycheck to daycare. We pay $764 every 2 weeks for 2 kids. For full time.
Oh my gosh.
So we had about $220 left over. Me and my husband just split that money for spending money for the next 2 weeks. My husband also got paid, but I'm not going to go over his paycheck. But thanks for joining. Bye.
She's not, but there's going to be a couple people that will, and it's crazy. 2 things I want to talk about. We discussed car payments. And then she also discussed daycare. That one I can understand. For starters, when it comes to car payments, I can't even wrap my head around a $700 a month car payment, not including insurance that you then have to pay gap insurance for because you have to cover the loan. You need full coverage. We're talking about probably an additional $150 to $200 a month in insurance to insure that car. So we're looking at about $900 a month in expenses for a freaking car. It's revolting. It pisses me off. As you guys know, I just made a video talking about how I bought a new car, and I'm not a huge fan of buying new cars, but lots of people are. And honestly, there are a few exceptions to the rule that if you follow, then I have no issues with you buying that new car. There are plenty of perks like being the first owner of purchasing a new car. but it's only if you do it that way. And if you guys haven't already seen that video, I highly recommend you check it out. And also, I want to shout out, I'm not sure if you guys saw it because I posted it on the community tab and YouTube decided to hide it for whatever reason. I was recently featured on a podcast, which is on Apple, as well as on a YouTube channel. And we went so in depth about cars. And if you guys are interested, I highly recommend you guys go check out that podcast. Share your love. I'm sending you guys that way. Just drop a comment so they know that I sent you. And we really went in depth about why used cars are the best way to buy cars, and then the exceptions to purchasing new and what to avoid and things to look out for. So highly recommend you check that out as well. If you don't fix the hole in your pocket, rich or poor, the money will keep spilling out. Wonderful analogy. I literally just said that a couple of minutes ago, and here we have somebody who picked up on it. And it is an awesome analogy. I've never heard it from someone else. I just came up with it. I thought it was really cool. But again, I'll read it one more time. If you don't fix the hole in your pockets, rich or poor, the money will keep spilling out. If you have a $700 plus insurance, $900 a month car payment, not including maintenance, not including gas, you're spending over $1,000 a month for your freaking car, which is an appreciating asset. That is insane. You are going to lose a lot of money. The key to financial freedom and building wealth is to reduce the amount of expenses you have and increase your cash flow at the end of the month. You can't do that with the car payment. Now, as for daycare, childcare, she's spending $1,400 a month, which is it's crazy to me because that is like rent for some people, but I understand it. And I get it. And it's something you have to weigh out, the pros and cons and the opportunity cost. Does it make sense for someone in the household to stay home and not work? Or should they work and then put the child full-time in daycare? You have to weigh out the numbers because, again, if you're only making 30 to 40K a year, that's not a lot of money. After taxes, you're looking at 25 to 30K, but you're paying $1,400 a month times 12, $17,000 of that income is going to freaking childcare. So after everything, you're only making like 12 grand a year, 13 grand a year. You got to think, could I at least try to make 10K a year staying at home and maybe starting a side hustle or just babysitting somebody else's kid? You know what I'm saying? If you're going to babysit your own, if you're going to watch your own kid, babysit for somebody else, and boom, you're now making more money and have more time working for yourself than you would be working full-time and going to daycare. Just things you have to think about. I'm a delivery truck driver. I drive a 36-foot box truck from Maryland to Virginia. I don't even know how far that is. It's got to be a couple hours. I'm so bad with geography. 5 days a week for 40 hours. Teamsters union job. Very cool. I think union is pretty nice. So 40 hours exactly. Wow. I made $96,000 last year after withholdings. So we're looking at like 130, 125K a year. 14K went into my retirement, which is cool. 13,000 for medical insurance. Okay. And total $123,000. But also, I only work 10 months out of the year. Very cool. My house is paid off and my kids are grown. Today is my 48th birthday. I'm set to retire in 18 months. Also, very cool. Happy birthday to you. I think that's great. And I love the fact that he's sharing this information. It really helps us think about, what other people are making. And that doesn't sound half bad, especially if you like driving.
I currently have $1,420.86 in my checking account, which means that I just got paid. So let's do a payday routine together. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Chanel. I'm 24 years old, living at home with my parents and working full time to pay off $92,914.61 in debt. In addition to what's currently sitting in my checking account, I also have...
How did we accumulate $92,000 at 24 years old? That's only 3 years younger than me. And our, net worths are vastly different here. This is insane.
$355 in my traditional savings account left over from my last paycheck. This money was sitting in my traditional savings account to act as a buffer in case anything popped up that I did not budget for. Initially, I was going to put this amount towards my high yield savings account. However, I have decided to keep it in my traditional savings account and use it towards my extra credit card payment in the month of January. I have 3 student loans, all 3 of which get automatically deducted from my traditional savings account.
I hate student loan payments. They just piss me off so much, especially private ones that charge like an exorbitant amount of interest, like a massive amount, because they're like leeches to your salary. Any chance you have at financial freedom, these little student loan payments just suck you dry. She's paying $1,100 a month for her education, which again, education is certainly important. And, there are pros and cons to going to college, but I hate the predatory loans that come after it. They piss me off so much. It has become such a monopoly, like a free market enterprise to just scam people the second they turn 18 years old into tremendous amounts of debt and take advantage of them when they're young and don't know any better. I can't stand it. If you haven't seen our student loan insanity episode, check that one out as well.
I'm going to transfer $1,097.94 from my checking account to my traditional savings account to ensure that I can make my January student loan payments. After that amount has been transferred, I will have $322.92 left over in my checking account. I only have 2 fixed things that I expect to come up within the next 2 weeks. The first being my Spotify premium subscription for $11.99, and the second being my Acorn subscription for $3. Once those 2 subscriptions have been accounted for, I will have $307.93 remaining in my checking account. Of this amount, I'm going to transfer an additional $125 to my traditional savings account to contribute towards my extra January credit card payment, which will already put my extra credit card payment at $480 before we've even entered the month of January. With all of that considered, I will have $182.92 left over in my checking account to tie me over until my next paycheck in 2 weeks. I anticipate possibly having to fill up my gas tank once between now and then, and I plan on trying to do a no-buy for groceries and just using what I have in the fridge, freezer, and pantry to cook for my family. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
I'm really curious, what did she go to school for that racked up $90,000 in debt that is only giving her a paycheck of what? $1,200? Like, what am I missing here? $1,300? Even if that's bi-weekly, it's terrible. It's horrible. I'm so lost and confused. I really want more information. And is it just that, or is there credit card debt, consumer debt? Like, is there other things that we're missing out on here? I really want to know, but I mean, maybe we'll find out in another video if she ever posts it. But $92,000, babe, I'm stressed over 1,000. These are comments that people left on her TikTok. 92 grand, and she's like okay with it. That's so tough to have that much money hanging over your head. It's insane. I was thinking, and then here she goes. I was thinking, how does someone have $92,000 in debt? And then I remembered I have 70 grand. That's actually a hysterical comment. That's absolutely perfect.
I love to know how much money people make. And I know that's a bad quality to have, but I just got my first check ever from social media. I posted almost every single day last month, and I ended up getting 9 million views for the whole month, which was insane. And most of the views came from one video that went viral, and I'm very lucky that that video was over a minute long because I made money off of the views. So if you don't know, you'll make money off of views on TikTok only if your video is over a minute long. So I kind of just got lucky this past month, and it's life-changing. And I understand why people pursue content creation as a full-time career, because it is very, 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 very possible. But you just kind of have to get lucky with it. I don't know. I think this was a fluke. I think it's going to be a one-time thing for me, but pretty cool. So I made $11.02 on the TikTok shop. That money is still in my TikTok account. I don't know how to get it out.
TikTok shop, baby. All you got to do is set up a bank account to it, and you could press withdraw, and you have to fill out like a 1099 form so they know where to send it to. It's not that difficult.
If I make more, I'll take it out. Right now, it's just $11. Save it for a rainy day. And then just from views alone, I got $1,980.87. Just from posting videos.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Granted, I went viral for reasons unbeknownst to me. Actually, I do know the reason. A video of me and Beyonce went viral. Out of context, it looked horrible. So I understand why people were looking at my page. But I made money off of it. That's crazy. Anyways, I think I'm going to be posting to TikTok more often because this is a side hustle, and I'm going to use this money to go on a vacation. I never go on vacations. That's not true. I went on 3 vacations. No, I went on 4 vacations last year. But this time, I don't have to worry about money, which is great.
Answer me this, please. What is it with girls and vacations and girls and traveling? I'll never understand it. I'm sure guys do it too, but it just seems like girls and women like doing that more. For me, I don't know. I'd rather spend my money. Maybe it's a guy thing or just me. I'd rather spend my money and actually be able to like have something. You know what I'm saying? Like a physical item, tools, car, I don't know, shoes, something, maybe food. Food's like the one thing, where money goes away. But when it comes to traveling, I get it. You're spending it on memories, but I can make a lot of memories too that I enjoy, from things I purchase that I'll have for the rest of my life. I don't know, spending $5,000 on a $2,000 to travel, it's just tough now. But the other part to it, the reason I'm not too big on traveling is because to me, I would much rather like build the life that I currently live better. So I enjoy waking up. I'm so excited every single day to wake up and make content for you guys. You don't even understand. And to work. So when I travel, I feel like it's a distraction from this. And then I also feel like I'm going to be more behind in my work if I do leave than had I just stayed at work, if that makes sense to you. I feel like too much stuff will build up and then I'll be really stressed when I come back. I've been slowly working on that because my fiance likes to travel. So I've been figuring out ways to make videos, record them early and take them with me, and then also manage my time and work, away, on travel in another state, wherever it is. So I've been doing better with that. So that's also good. But to make $1,100 on social media and then to blow it all on a vacation, I mean, to each their own. I certainly wouldn't do that. I'd be using it as a tool, reinvesting it back into my business, learning how to make more money. I don't want to toot my own horn. This is not what this is about. This is for educational content and also to inspire those that are interested in doing social media content. She said, or online stuff, she said she made $11 from TikTok Shop. Last month, I made over $4,000 messing around, tinkering with TikTok Shop, as you guys can see here. And the best part is they're just sending me tools for free to review, some very expensive, some cheap. And I also make money off selling them for commission. It's insane. It's easy, at least for me, but it requires time. You have to be good at it. You have to make good content, so on and so forth here. But that's one thing. I'll show you another one. Maybe this one will inspire people. Again, this is not to gloat in any way, shape, or form. This is to inspire you guys. I just want to pull up here a video we'll use for an example. I'll go to my popular page right here. I want to show you the ability of what social media content creation can do and why, even as a side hustle, it's something to consider and to pursue. You got nothing to lose. We're going to take my video I made last month, New Car Insanity, that you guys watched. It has 235,000 views. We're going to go to analytics. As you guys can see, this one video, she had a video that got 9 million views on TikTok and it only made her $1,000. YouTube, this video got 235,000 views and it made $1,472. And as you guys can see, it is continuously bringing that money in. If I go over to here, you can see it has slowly been growing. Back in July 2nd, it was 1,169. Now it is, August 1st or July 30th. And now we're at almost $1,500. So what does that tell you? It's pretty insane, the power of social media. And I can show you guys more in other videos, but I'm just giving you a little tidbit to really, hopefully, change your opinions on social media and content creation. My wife and I make a combined $70,000 a year, and right now we are saving around $30K per year. It's not that hard if you live simply. All those little everyday purchases add up quick and people don't realize it. This is 100% true. Like I said, you can really save and make a lot of money if you learn to live well below your means, shop savvy, live frugal, learn how to cut costs. Try to reduce your biggest expenses too. We saw those other people. She had 90 grand in debt and is paying, $15 a month for like subscriptions that are unnecessary. I know getting rid of those isn't going to make a huge dent on the 90K, but it's also the principle. Some people say, you got to live even if you have debt, whatever. I get it. But it's the principle. If you're going to spend a little here, you're going to spend a little there. It all adds up. To be able to save $30K a year, 3 years, you're at 90 grand. Had you invested that, you'd be over $100,000 in 3 years. That is insane. That is crazy work, but it is doable if you're good with it.
I'm sharing with y'all how much I made from TikTok in each month of 2024 as a smaller creator. For reference, I have almost 300,000 followers.
Wow.
And I better hit 300,000 followers before this ban goes through. But I get a lot of questions on this, and I figure since this app might get banned, I might as well share. I'm a little neurotic about tracking my income, and I like to do it all on paper. So that's why everything's here. In January, I made $11,700. In February, my account was hacked, but I still made $2,271. In March, I made $6,307.
Wow.
In April, I made $4,626. In May, I made $4,229. In June, I made $9,941. In July, I made $5,800. In August, I made $1,600. In September, I made $9,789. In October, I made $9,211. In November, I made $7,540. And in December, I made $4,190. So yeah, if this app goes for real, I'm going to be a little sad, a little broke, a little back to living on a teacher's salary, which is not the funnest thing to do. But yeah, this is why we shouldn't ban TikTok. I know so many teachers that have been able to make a second income with this app, and it's just, honestly, this app is one of the best things to happen to my life. If I never made an account on here, I never started posting on here, I would have not gotten to travel to any of the places that I've traveled to in the past couple of years. I wouldn't be able to afford this house. I wouldn't have a lot of things that I do have. So anyways, if you're someone who's been following me for the past couple of years, I just want to say thank you. And follow me on Instagram, I guess, even though everyone kind of doesn't like it there. And I'm going to make an account on Rednote because I think that's funny. I just downloaded it. I think my username, I'm going to try to just use my same exact username so I'm easier to find. But I'll let you know if it's already taken.
See, this was earlier back earlier in the year when they were going to ban TikTok, but it's still here. I have no idea what's going on with that. I've made a lot of money for many years. I think when ever since college, I've been always into YouTube ever since I was 10, 15, but even older now, college, I really, doubled down and started pursuing YouTube as just for fun, a hobby to make money to get through college. It slowly snowballed into a career. And here we are today. I've got a couple channels, but it's awesome. One thing she's got to consider is that money, it's more inflated than it actually is. So she's thrown out these big numbers, and indeed she did make that, but you have to save about 30 to 40% of that to go to taxes. So every number cut, 30 or 40% because she's got to give that away. Now, she can play with that by, coming up with deductions or business expenses, the phone bill, utilities, lighting, all that stuff. List goes on and on and on. Camera equipment, everything. She can reduce everything. Her car to get to and from making those videos, whatever it is. But you have to get creative with it. And you can certainly, reduce your overall expenses. But yeah, the sky is the limit, guys. Again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I have made some serious money that you guys would probably be shocked if I told you when it comes to social media and content creation. I mean, I think I made my first $100,000 when I was 20 or 21 years old. I was in college and I made that much money. So it just tells you it's insane. And that is not gross. That is net after expenses. Because I'll be honest with you, YouTube, aside from getting the camera equipment and stuff, which, I got many years ago that you see here, there's really not too many expenses. It's a time commitment. You know what I'm saying? I have to spend time creating this content for you guys. Imagine how much the big creators make. Yeah, that's true. Like they just said, imagine she has a small following, but imagine what a big one can do. Love this. In total, she made $77,000 and your average for each month was $6,400. It's insane. It really, really is. That is a small content creator. Something you also have to consider is you have to think you got to be nervous things are going to go away. I'm paranoid that, YouTube could crash, disappear, my channel could get deleted, TikTok could disappear. And if you're not saving money and bunkering down for the winter, save your squirrel saving his acorns and nuts for the winter, you're going to dry out. And I have seen many businesses, small businesses and creators lose everything because, there's highs and lows in business. And if you don't save enough and invest and think savvy, think of a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. Invest, save your money, have an emergency fund. It could all disappear in a blink of an eye. So you really have to think about, be paranoid. Only the paranoid will survive.
My husband just got paid today, so let's go through his $2,799.62 paycheck and our payday routine. My husband's gross pay is $4,038.46. He gets $201.92 taken out for his 401k, and then he had $1,036.93 taken out for taxes.
Yep.
We do have a lot of taxes withheld. I need to update his withholdings like this weekend. So that brings us to his net pay of $2,799.62. So first thing I always do is reconcile our budget and all of our accounts. And since we're a month ahead, I actually record this paycheck in March because that's when we're actually going to use that money. So after payday, our checking account has $6,923.34. And the first thing that we do is pay off our credit cards because we treat them like debit cards.
Cool.
So we only put things on it that we can pay for immediately.
I like it.
I have 2 credit cards that we use regularly. The first one has a balance of $1,267.84, and the other one has a balance of $650.92. So I'm going to pay those off. So after paying off those credit cards, I have $5,004.58 left in our bank account. And since we're a month ahead, a good chunk of this money is going to be used in March, but we have $1,839.44 that is left to spend in February. We still have a week of daycare to pay.
Oh, daycare.
So that leaves us with like $1,100 left for the rest of the month. So I'm feeling good about that, and I think we'll be able to put a good chunk towards savings. That's everything that I do on payday. Let me know if you have any questions.
See, the way my mind works is, again, your biggest expenses are going to be the first one to tackle. So for me, where I currently live, my biggest expense would be rent. I don't really have many bills underneath that. I mean, it legit goes rent and then electric and then Wi-Fi. I don't have a car payment. I don't have any unnecessary expenses. I guess car insurance would be another big one too. That's another one, but that's every 6 months. And if you break that down, it's only maybe $200 a month for 3 cars. Anywho, so my plan of attack, and some of these, you take longer than others, is going to be to get out of Florida because the car insurance is atrocious. And also I don't want to pay the rent here. So I'm going to move to somewhere else. Don't know where yet. Had ideas. And then what I'm going to do is take out a mortgage, buy a house, and pay that mortgage off as fast as I can in under 7 years. That's my goal. Might even be in under 5 years. I might even pay it off in 3 years. I don't know. It depends on how aggressive and tunnel visioned I am. But what that will do, even though you still have to pay taxes, is, property taxes, is it will reduce my biggest expense of every month, which is rent. I can take control over it, be less enslaved to somebody else deciding, where my money goes, and I can take over that. And that's what I'm going to do. Because to not have a $2,000 a month, rent payment would be freaking amazing. And I'd be living like a king. I'd have so much more money at my disposal every month. Then I might actually consider traveling. I was an accountant and was always stunned at how many doctors retired with almost nothing. They always spent more than they made. Yeah. If you guys haven't read the book, The Millionaire Next Door, it is an amazing book. Highly recommend you guys read it. He talks about a lot of these high status, high net worth, and I don't even want to say high net worth, high status individuals where doctors typically have to keep up with the Kardashians, the status. They have to get the big house. They have to get the newest car. They have to have the nicest clothes. And to an extent, I agree. It's understandable because think about it. If you saw your doctor who's about to do brain surgery on you, roll up in a beat up Toyota Camry, completely nasty and falling apart, whatever it is, you might have a second thought about it. Or let's say it's not that. Let's use another example. You roll up to a business meeting. You're going to sell tech equipment and you're driving a junker and you're about to do a $2 million deal. They're going to judge you. Unfortunately, they are going to judge you. First impression is big. So I can understand why having a new car is important. But again, sometimes doctors and people let this get to their heads and they go crazy overboard and blow all of their money. So, there are ways around this. You don't need a massive house if you can't afford it. But then there's, some other liability insurance doctors need that they have to pay for, pay themselves. or by themselves, because lots of doctors are 1099, and disaster, like I forget what it's called, but in case they get sued for, messing up, it's just something to consider. And they do have a lot of expenses. People are posting their salaries online, and honestly, it's insane. Some of these numbers are way higher than I expected, and it's making me rethink everything about my own pay. How do you even start negotiating or planning your finances with this kind of pressure? I'm honestly overwhelmed. See, this is why I wanted you guys to comment your salaries down below, because it helps everybody critically think and think a little deeper about where their current position is. And you got to understand, there's only a select few people that are actually going online and posting these salaries. And you got to think that the people that are doing this probably have something to show off. So you're only seeing a biased small amount here, but what you guys are commenting is a little more unbiased. It's a neutral pool, but it lets you guys think about this. And honestly, the best advice that I have noticed is job hopping. We've talked about this in other videos, but it's like, don't beg your boss for raises. You can only get so much. The biggest discount, the biggest pay raise you're going to get is at an initial negotiation. When it came to me buying my first new car, the initial negotiation was the most money I was going to save. I knocked like $6,000-$7,000. Honestly, I knocked close to $8,500 off of, or $8,000 off the price of the car. That was my biggest savings. When it came to job negotiation, it's not when you already have the job, it's that initial discussion. I mean, my fiance, when she was negotiating her job, immediately got a $5,000 increase because she asked. That is it. It would have taken her probably 2 years, if not more, to get $5,000 as bonuses or raises while she was working the job, but she got it immediately for asking and negotiating. So job hopping in the beginning to boost your career up to a salary that you're comfortable with is very vital to boosting your income.
Money transparency as an Xray tech. I've been an Xray tech for 3 years. I graduated in 2021 from a 2-year accredited program, and then I took the boards and paid for my license for my state. This is obviously variant depending on what your position is, if you're PRN, full-time, part-time, and what shift you work, if you work at an outpatient center or a hospital. So I'm just going to tell you what I have got. Started off as PRN, which is as needed. Not guaranteed hours, no PTO, no benefits, no retirement. I started off as that, new grad at $26.50. Then at that same hospital, I applied for a full-time weekend job, which I knew was a hard shift to fill, so I was able to say, hey, I'm not doing this unless I get X amount of money, and they matched what I wanted at $30 an hour.
Just what I said. The initial negotiation is your biggest key to salary increases.
That's not including differentials. So you get weekend differential, evening differential, and night shift differential, which is anywhere from $1.50 to $3 an hour added on. Currently, I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday as an Xray tech, full-time, 3/12s, and I get $33 an hour because I have since gotten a raise. I also work PRN at an outpatient clinic, and I get $27 an hour. Obviously, this is all dependent on where you live, what the cost of living is. If you're a traveler, if you're full-time, PRN, it's all different based on your years of experience, your
modality.
In Xray, it can really count for how many modalities you have under your belt. So if you're like Xray and CT, you'll get paid more because you're more valuable in your multi-modality. Or like Xray and MRI, or MRI and CT. Like there's so many different modalities and they each get paid differently. As far as my experience goes, Xray techs that have a bachelor's degree get paid the same as Xray techs with an associate's degree. Only difference is the ones with a bachelor's degree can work their way up the leadership pole. Most of the time you can't have a leadership position with only an associate.
Crazy, but I get it.
Let me know if you have any questions.
That's an awesome video. I really do like that. And when she's talking about modality, I guess that means like how many tools you have in your tool belt, how many different things you can do. That would ideally make you more valuable if you can, do multiple things. And that's true in all cases. I actually read an article one time that talked about, I was a podcast, that the further up you go in your career, the more niche you get, the less valuable you are to the outside world. Because if you lose your job, it is very difficult to find another position like that, because ideally you'd have to climb that ladder in that company to get to that one as well. it's not always the best to go super deep in your career. It can actually work against you to a certain extent here. But that's why they say you want to have a lot of knowledge in a lot of things. You want to be good at sales and management and marketing and, tailor your resume, not make it too specific if you are applying to another job, because you're probably not going to get hired. Regarding your curiosity about how companies feel about employees disclosing their rates of pay, it's actually illegal for a company to discourage an employee from speaking about their pay. Yeah, you should tell my previous boss that. That's hysterical. People are completely free and clear to do so. The companies like it. The more transparency there is about pay, the more people may request. If John is getting 32 an hour and I'm getting 22 for doing the same job, I'm going to want a raise. Don't let your boss tell you to keep your wage a secret. It's illegal. It's your right to talk about it. Very important information. How are these people poor? If I made 60 to 75K, I'd be rich and able to invest. No debt, cars paid off, small mortgage, but I pretty much have a poverty wage. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Again, why? Because of lifestyle creep, and people are constantly needing to upgrade everything to make it better. Not that there's anything wrong to be upgrading your stuff and getting nicer things. Buy it nicer, buy it twice, but in moderation and to a certain extent. And if you have the money and funds to do so, can you then treat yourself? Live like no one else now so you can live like nobody else later. That could come at different ages for different people. But yeah, I know people that make 75K and they're in debt. 90 grand in debt, 80 grand in debt. Blows my mind. Then there are people that make 50K and they are able to save 20K a year. It's incredible. So really comes down to, like I said, how your pockets are. If you got holes in your pockets, doesn't matter what you get paid. And more money doesn't help. That's what everybody says. I need more money. I need more money. I need more money. No, you're just going to spend more. If you're making 80K and now you make 150, guess what? You're going to get a newer car, newer clothes, and a bigger, more expensive vacation. You're gonna be in the same position. Anywho, guys, that's gonna be it for today's episode. Again, huge shout out to KashKick for sponsoring today's episode. Highly recommend you check them out down in the description below. You got nothing to lose. They're completely free. I actually was playing that dice game. I kid you not, while I was editing the video, and I got so distracted, I spent like 40 minutes playing the freaking game. I'm very close to actually getting some money off the app too, which is pretty interesting, but definitely make sure to check them out. Link is at the top of the description below. And if you haven't already seen my episode on, part 1 to this, the salary insanity, that's going to be after this video. And with that being said, smash the like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.